Welcome to the Explainer. You know when you ask an AI to do something on your computer, there's this kind of hidden battle going on. It's a choice between two totally different styles. Act like a person, visually clicking through an app, or act like a programmer, sending secret commands behind the curtain. Today, we're diving deep into these two methods because honestly, how this all shakes out is going to define the future of AI automation.
So, have you ever really thought about it? How does a simple command like, book me a flight, actually turn into, well, a booked flight? The secret sauce is the type of AI agent that's running the show. Is it using its eyes, or is it using the secret back door?
Okay, so this brings us to our two main players. On the left, you've got the GUI agent. It acts just like a person, literally looking at the screen and clicking around. And on the right, you have the API agent. It's more like a programmer, writing a single line of code to get the job done. They both reach the same goal, but as you're about to see, how they get there, they're worlds apart.
All right, let's see this in action. We're going to give them a simple task: book a meeting in Google Calendar. First up, let's watch how the human-like agent, the GUI agent, tackles this.
So the GUI agent works with the graphical user interface. That's the visual stuff, the buttons and menus we all use every day. It literally sees the screen, identifies that create button just like you or I would, and then it simulates a click. It's playing by the exact same rules a human has to.
And it keeps going, still mimicking us. It scans the calendar grid, finds the right time slot, and clicks again. Every single one of these is a separate action, and it's all completely dependent on understanding the visual layout of the app.
And finally, it types in the title, clicks save, and the job's done. Now, the cool thing is, it's super transparent, right? We can see every step. But you can probably already feel how this could be a little inefficient. All those separate clicks, they start to add up.
Okay, now let's switch gears to the API agent. And it's a completely different universe. It doesn't see the screen at all. Instead, it uses the Application Programming Interface, the API. Think of it like a special private language that lets software talk directly to other software. It just bundles up all the information, the time, the title, everything into one single command, fires it off to Google servers, and bam, it's done, instantly.
So we've seen what they do, but the how, that's where it gets really interesting. What is the fundamental difference in how these two agents actually perceive the world around them? Let's get into the mechanics.
An API agent is kind of like having a direct phone line to the software's kitchen. It just completely bypasses the host and the waiter. It has a very specific list of pre-approved orders, or API calls, that it can send straight to the chef. This is incredibly fast and reliable. But here's the catch. It can only order what's on that special, predefined menu, nothing else.
The GUI agent, on the other hand, is just like us. It's sitting in the dining room, looking at the public menu, the graphical interface, and it tells a waiter, "I'll have that," by pointing. In theory, it can order anything it can see, but it has to rely on interpreting that visual layout, which, can sometimes be slow or just plain confusing.
And this diagram from the paper, man, it just lays it out perfectly. It shows you the two different senses these agents have. The API agent's reality is just text. It sees a structured list of tools it can use. The GUI agent's reality is pixels, a literal screenshot of the interface. This single difference, text versus pixels, is the source of all their strengths and all their weaknesses.
Okay, so this fundamental split between text and pixels, it creates a really critical set of trade-offs. It's that classic battle, speed versus flexibility, and the choice between them has huge implications.
This really gets to the heart of it. With an API agent, you get a rocket ship. It's blazing fast, super reliable, but it can only fly to pre-approved destinations. The GUI agent is more like an all-terrain vehicle. It's incredibly adaptable. It can go pretty much anywhere it sees a path. But it's slower, and a tiny change in the landscape, like a developer moving a button just a few pixels, can stop it dead in its tracks. This table from the paper really breaks it all down for us. You can see API agents just crush it on reliability and efficiency. But, and this is a big but, look where GUI agents shine: availability and flexibility. They can work on any application with a visual interface. No special access required. Think about all the older software out there. And now, look at those last two rows, security and maintainability. An API is a controlled, secure gateway. A GUI agent needs broad access to your screen, which is definitely riskier, and it's fragile. It can break every single time a developer decides to redesign the app.
So, after digging into all these differences, you start to wonder, if each way of doing things has these powerful but totally different strengths, why choose it all? What happens when you combine them?
And this wasn't just some thought experiment. The researchers actually went and built a prototype hybrid agent to get a real-world answer. They gave a single agent access to both API calls and GUI actions, and then threw a bunch of complex office tasks at it. And wow, the results were pretty dramatic. On its own, the GUI agent managed to succeed on these tough tasks about 16% of the time. But when it was given the option to use APIs, its success rate jumped all the way to nearly 25%. This proves the whole concept. The agent knew when to use a fast API call and when it needed to fall back on a good old-fashioned GUI click to get things done.
And it wasn't just about getting it right more often. It was about how efficiently it got it right. This number, 58.5%, that's the reduction in the number of steps the hybrid agent needed to succeed. I mean, just imagine replacing a dozen clicks with a single instant command. That's the real power of the hybrid approach. It's not just better, it's a whole lot smarter.
And this all points to what the paper calls the action orchestrator. Think of it like a smart conductor for your AI. For every single step in a task, it asks a simple question. Is there a fast, reliable API for this? If the answer is yes, it uses it. If the answer is no, it just seamlessly falls back to the flexible GUI agent. It's not a choice between two methods anymore. It's an intelligent system that picks the best tool for every single moment.
So, this whole action orchestrator idea, it's actually bigger than just making better agents. It points to a massive shift in how we're all going to interact with our software. The paper's conclusion on this is, well, it's pretty mind-bending.
The paper basically concludes that these two paths are destined to merge. So first off, these two approaches will get tangled up together just like in that hybrid model. But then it goes deeper. Soon, AI will make creating a new API as easy as just writing a sentence. At the same time, powerful vision models will make those GUI agents way more robust, much less fragile. And the end result of all that is the last and most powerful point. The boundary between just using an app and actually programming it is going to start to disappear.
Which leaves us with a really big question to chew on. If your AI assistant can instantly write a new function for an app or visually change an interface on the fly, does the distinction between using it and creating it even exist anymore? Where do you see this all heading? Are you Team API, Team GUI, or do you think the hybrid future is inevitable? Let us know what you think in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed breaking this down and want to get smarter about more fascinating topics like this one, make sure you subscribe to VibeDoc. Thanks for watching.